everybody, and welcome to the developer commentary playthrough for Dynasty Heroes, developed by Nick3 Entertainment and produced for DickJutsu.com. I am Richard Schaefer, the chief developer for the game. Before we get started, let me just say that Dynasty Heroes is a free game. If you would like to play it, all you have to do is go to DickJutsu.com, click on the page for Dynasty Heroes, and download it. And that's pretty much it. Download it, install it, and play it, and enjoy it. That is a requirement. You absolutely must enjoy this game. Enjoy it. So, let's get started. Gonna take you through some of our behind-the-scenes thing while I play through a section of Dynasty Heroes. And we'll talk a little bit about character development and everything. I'll also go through some of the in-jokes, because ultimately this is a parody of Dynasty Warriors, Dynasty Wars, Knights of Valor, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, all of those games, Tenchi Wo Kurao. This is a parody. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, Nick3 Entertainment. That's me. DickJutsu.com, where you can find a copy of the game, and it is loosely based upon Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Featuring the arts talents of Rich Grayson and Farid Fajaransa. All of our voice actors, which I'll cite each of them as we meet their characters. Lucid Chord did our music, including the track you're hearing right now. In the year 189, Zhong Ying, a corrupt politician, usurped our opening and all of our backstory. I'll probably skip through most of this because you're going to have to watch it if you play the game too, so we'll just speed this up a little bit. Only one stood. And with that epic tune, we get to the start of the game. Ultimately, when this game was started, it was originally started as a straight RTK style, actually based on the story, but it quickly devolved into, it would be funny if we made it all a parody. That's why as this conversation between Bogui, that's the guy in orange on the right, and our main character Zhuande, the guy in green on the left, their conversation starts out pretty legit, but before long they wind up getting pretty comical. Skipping through some things. Bogui is of course based on Gongsun Zan or Gongsun Bogui, a northeastern lord that was friends to Liu Bei or Zhuande in the novel. All of this is centered around the anti-Dongzhou coalition of like 189, 190 in the story. And historically, Zhuande and his two brothers were not actually part of the battle, but their participation in the battle is a huge part of the novel that this is all based on, which is historically anecdotal. Some of it is historically fact, some of it is historically bullcrap. This particular line here, Bogui and Zhuande are talking about who's more worthy, and it's very pandering. No, you're better than I am. No, you're better than I am. Zhuande refers to himself as a mere weaver of grass mats, and that's because at the start of the novel, Zhuande is a weaver of grass mats and straw sandals, and he's a merchant, even though he's descended from the imperial clan. This particular line here, they're talking about his two oath brothers, Yi Dai and Yun Chang, who we'll meet in the next scene. He refers to them as a salt thief and a butcher. Yi Dai was a butcher and owned a small plantation and a peach orchard, and that's a major thing in the novel, not so much here, because this takes place long after, about 5 years after the Yellow Turban Rebellion, or the Yellow Scarf Rebellion, whatever you want to call it. In the game, it's referred to simply as the Yellow Rebellion. Yun Chang was, at one point in time, a criminal, and the salt thief thing is one of the folk tales of why he was a criminal, was that he murdered a corrupt salt merchant who was enslaving the populace, and stole a bunch of salt and distributed it to the people in a very Robin Hood-esque way. So that's why he refers to his brothers as a salt thief and a butcher. And there we talk about, he swore an oath of brotherhood with them, the Peach Garden Orchard. That particular line, Hidden in the Glen, is a reference to a later part of the novel, with character Zhu Shu, or at the time he's going under an alias of Tan Fu, sings a song with that line in it to Zhuande. Here we're really getting into the showing that Zhuande is the straight man of the joke. He's not really privy to the joke. I mean, ultimately he is, but he doesn't want to be. Keeps pushing back against Bogui, trying to convince him, hey, come on, let's do this. Let's get into this, epic battle. And he's just looking at it from the outside in, saying, this is really stupid, and I don't want to be part of it. Tell him, you talk a lot. He says, doesn't agree with the plan, doesn't want to be part of it. And here, when Bogui says, remember when I vouched for you and loaned you that money to get you out of jail after you beat that corrupt inspector to death? This part of the parody is referring to a difference between the novel and the actual historical thing. In the novel, Zhuande is made out to be, a penultimate good guy. So at one point, whenever he's just, a local magistrate of a little village, an imperial inspector comes and requests a bribe, and Zhuande refuses. He's the straight man. He says, no, I'm not going to pay you a bribe. So the inspector tries to bring him up on charges of corruption and embezzlement, and as a result, in the novel, Yide ties the inspector to a pole and beats him almost to death until Zhuande shows up, removes his imperial, seal of the right to be, mayor of the little village, tosses at the inspector and says, if this is the kind of people that are going to be my boss, then screw you guys, I'm out of here, and leaves. And it's a few years before he's able to win enough support to get another position, which is where he is at this stage in the story. But historically speaking, it was actually Zhuande who beat the inspector. He tied him to the pole himself and whipped him. And some stories that you read of it even has him beating the man to death, and then they all flee as criminals. So that's what that line is a reference to. And of course, that's enough to get him to go along with the story. Join us again next time as we continue to discuss Dynasty Heroes. If you're interested in playing the game, as mentioned, Nick3 Entertainment is releasing this game for free at dickjutsu.com. Thanks for coming, and thanks for playing along.